Basically, last year was a finally good year for my company where I was, as a founder, like, whoo, we did it. It was good revenues. We've reached over 8 million euros. And finally, we had nice EBITDA. And I was already looking forward next year how we would repay some dividends and, I probably go somewhere in Thailand and chill out. But the issue is I'm still 30 years old and I'm not ready for retiring. I still want to have a fast-paced life. I still have a lot of ambitions and I just love big challenges and I like big mind games. So I've decided that I need to do another sprint in this company, postpone those dividends and postpone this comfort and just run for a little bit more. So I've picked a number which is 100 million euros and this is exactly how much I want to make in revenues in 1 year for my company. Yeah, not this year, not next year, but soon. And when I was looking at our trajectory of our current growth, it was like 20-30% a year. But to get to 100 million, we need to 12x. And that would take us probably, 20 to 30 years. And that's not the game I want to play. I need it a little bit faster. So I started playing how I can make it. And I figured out we need to do a lot of changes. Looking at this, I see it as two numbers. Number of coffee shops multiplied by average revenue per store. And of course, we get different amount of money from our own revenues, where we get all of our revenues, to the franchised coffee shops, where we get only a small part of it. If we go to extreme, in order to reach the challenge, I need to open either 1,000 franchised shops, which that's going to be big amount of talking with my partners. That's going to be crazy. Or I need to do 140 coffee shops on myself. That's pretty nice, but that would require too much funding, which I do not believe we could get in Europe and this time. And the point is, these numbers that I just mentioned, they already imply that our revenues will be much higher from what they are today. So this is where it gets real. If we look at our shops or franchise shops, which worked over 12 months, we see that our own shops generated 440,000 euros on average of net revenue, meaning excluding VAT, while our franchisees generated 307,000. And the point is, we just do bigger shops and we do more expensive shops. Probably that's the reason. In order to reach this target with realistic number of coffee shops, we need to increase our own revenues to 700 per year and our franchisees to 600 per year. And this is the biggest challenge of this whole story. And opening stores isn't as hard as just figuring out how to make sure they're running completely well. And of course, I'm not planning to take one extreme over another. We want to do a combination of franchise stores and our own stores. And while I was playing with the number, I figured that we need to do around 400 franchised coffee shops and 50 our own coffee shops in order to, in total, reach 100 million of our own revenue. And I see this number is very realistic. Currently, we have over 50 partners already signed up. Multiple of them has multiple contracts. So meaning that I think on average, it's going to be 3 contracts per partner. So we just need a little bit more partners for us to grow. It just takes time to open up. While for our own shops, it's getting a little bit slower. And the problem here is that it requires huge capex. As I believe the stores we would need to open in the future would cost us much more. And I would say somewhat about €500,000. To open another 40 shops, because we already have 10, we need to do 20 million euros investments. That's a lot, but I think that's doable. Retained earnings plus loans plus probably some minor investment round, and there we are. The question is whether we can manage our own stores, because it's going to be multiple countries and probably we can, but it's just going to be a lot of fun work. Sounds like doable for 7 to 10 years. Yeah, we'll figure out. But again, the most important part of this whole thing is not opening stores. This is the easy part. The hardest part is to make sure we're opening them with higher revenue, but also we are opening them profitably. And I believe if you want to get a lot of revenues and you want to have a nice coffee shop, you need to compete with big guys, and you are not competing here for cheap locations and small locations. That's why our investments on average is going to increase to 500,000 probably, while we have increased the minimum requirement from our franchisees to 200,000 euros. Because last years we had guys with 100K, sometimes a little bit over 100K, and then we could see how these underinvested coffee shops are performing. And this is definitely not the game we want to play. And by the way, if you ever plan to open a coffee shop, please make sure you have enough money to do it nicely. And because doing it nicely and expensive means minimizing risk. Minimizing risk is not trying to save on everything, because you have more risks, you just have less money to lose. So make sure you have enough funds. And even though this is whole thing called 100 million euros challenge, I'm not stupid. I don't want to grow revenues just to grow revenues. I want to make sure we're growing a really profitable company that will be sustaining for probably generations and feed a lot of families. Hope you like my journey. I hope you would join me for this whole journey for the next years. I hope you guys follow my channel and see you in another video. Bye bye.